of you niggas ain't real, real, real. Some of you niggas ain't real, real, real. Some of you niggas ain't real, real, real. Some of you niggas ain't real, real, real.
Welcome back to another enlightening episode of Knowledge for Knowledge, an exchange of information with Knowledge Ali. In today's episode, we're diving deep into the complex dynamics of accountability in relationships. Why do men and women often seek attention rather than taking responsibility for their actions? Have we as a society fostered a generation of narcissistic individuals? And what does submission truly mean in the context of modern relationships? So y'all stay tuned as we unpack these thought-provoking questions and more. So we'll jump into attention versus accountability, right? So why do men and women seek attention over accountability? It's a good question, right? Let's break some of this down then. So the rise of social media has created a culture where attention is often equated with validation, right? So people may prioritize things like likes and followers as over, they'll take that over genuine things like, self-reflection and growth, and without having strong examples of accountability in a person's life, individuals may not learn the importance of taking responsibility for their actions. Sometimes admitting fault requires vulnerability. Many people avoid doing this due to fear of judgment or rejection. Y'all like the live, share the live. I appreciate y'all listening. Is there a generation of narcissistic individuals? The emphasis on individuals and self-promotion in modern culture can contribute to narcissistic tendencies. Also, overprotective and overly permissive parenting can lead to a lack of accountability in children, who grow up without understanding the consequences of their actions. It's important to distinguish between those narcissistic traits and somebody who may have narcissistic personality disorder, otherwise known as NPD, which is a clinical condition that does require a professional diagnosis as well as treatment. Y'all like the live, share the live. Why do some women refuse to listen to a man. Historically, women's voices have been marginalized, leading to a resistance to the male authority in modern time. Men and women often have different communication styles, which can lead to misunderstandings and a perception that women are not listening. Um, the rise of your feminist groups, no disrespect, but has empowered women to assert their independence and question the traditional gender roles. Let's see. Excuse. What does submission mean to you? Hmm. Submission is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness or inferiority. In healthy relationships, it can mean mutual respect, trust, and support. Submission can be it can vary greatly, depending on the individual's beliefs and cultural background, but it's essential to have open and honest conversations about what submission truly means to each partner. Um, True submission is a choice made from a place of strength and confidence. Not coercion and fear. So let's cover some of the communication styles between men and women, right? So understanding the differences in communication styles between men and women can it can help improve interactions and reduce those misunderstandings. So I would say the focus and the purpose would be, as far as men, our focus and purpose tend to be more task oriented and focus on problem solving. But we often communicate to convey information or assert dominance or achieve a specific goal. And the focus and purpose in women, generally more relationship oriented, focusing on building connections and fostering relationships. They women often communicate to express feelings, share experiences and create bonds. Now the use of language between man and woman, men often use more direct and assertive language. Uh we men, we tend to prioritize uh and clarify, getting pretty much straight to the point. And women tend to use more a detailed descriptive language. They might include more qualifiers and things of that nature that can make their speech seem less direct, but it's more inclusive. Now the nonverbal communication, men typically, fewer questions, and you know we don't it's not too much eye contact during the conversation. We might also use more body language, sometimes to assert dominance. And with women often use more gestures or facial expressions, eye contact to convey things like empathy and understanding. They might also use more of a physical touch to express, things like support and to form a connection. The listening styles. Men, we may listen for the main point and focus on finding a solution, and it might seem like we interrupt them frequently, to offer advice or, to share on our own experiences. And women tend to listen more actively and empathetically. Some, not all. Let's just keep it real. Some, not all, and that's both sides. Some, not all. This ain't no one-sided place. We gonna get on both sides. That's the only way both sides gonna come together and make this shit work right. So, women tend to listen more actively and empathetically. Using verbal and nonverbal cues to show that they are engaged, and they often ask more questions to try and get others to share conversational topics between men and women, right? Men often, jump from topic to topic, focusing on the facts and external events. They might discuss, things like sports, politics, work related issues, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Cars, yada yada yada. Women tend to talk about talk at length about, one topic. Women tend to be able to zero in or hone in on a topic more so often related to things like personal experiences or relationships. They might discuss things like family, friends, emotions, the opposite of what most of us men don't talk about. A lot of us men don't talk about feelings. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We need to tap into that anyway. Practical tips for better communication, right? So, and I'm like I say, I'm gonna get to it both sides. Like, I hear too many one-sided shows, podcasts, lives, and all that. It's a one-sided there. Like, nah, I'm finna cut this down the middle, and boom, everybody got both sides got a part to play. So, like I say, with the practical tips for better communication, right? For men, let's practice active listening. Let's give full attention and let's try not to avoid that much. I know it's a lot to try and listen to and remember the stuff that you want to touch back on. It might sound weird. You might have to get like a notepad or something and write down your bullet points that you want to come back and touch on, just for the sake of the conversation, to let that person get out whatever is in them out of them. It's just respecting the other person's feelings. That's all. Now, also, let's use a more inclusive language, and ask open-minded questions to encourage some kind of dialogue, versus us just, giving the typical yes, no, like, let's like I say, let's ask more questions, Let's form some kind of dialogue. Also, be mindful, of the nonverbal cues. A lot of women say stuff without saying a damn thing. And they want eye contact too. So yeah, give it to them. I know we don't tend to do that like we should, but it's needed. For the ladies, let's be direct and clear, when you conveying important information or making a request. We not mind readers. It's not a joke. Being real. Like just be direct and be clear. And you may think you being direct and clear. Sometimes is really not, and we need further clarification. Just work with us. Don't get frustrated with us, please. Thank you. Recognize that offering solutions can be a better way of it ain't what you say, it's how you say it. That's how I'm gonna leave that. Use them I statements sometimes to express feelings and needs without sounding accusatory. You know what I'm saying? That way we understand, okay, you not saying I made you feel that way, but you saying that something has caused you to feel some kind of way. Like sometimes, us men, the way things come at us, it sounds like we getting blamed for it. That's all. Understanding these differences can help with both men and women communicate, more effectively and build stronger, more empathetic relationships. Um, I got some more for y'all that we gonna do. So, but on that note, I want to thank y'all. We ain't done, but thank y'all for joining. Us on this insightful journey through the dynamics of accountability. Attention and submission in relationships. We explored why men and women often seek attention over taking responsibility. The cultural and the psychological factors, contributing to a generation of narcissistic individuals and the complexities of communication and conflict resolution between the genders. But remember, accountability is a cornerstone of a healthy relationship and personal growth. By understanding, embracing our differences, we can foster a more empathetic and supportive connection. Whether it's redefining submission itself or improving our communication style. Every step towards self-awareness and mutual respect brings us closer, to a fulfilling relationship. So, just stay curious, keep challenging them societal norms and continue exchanging knowledge, but until next time, this is Knowledge Ali, reminding you that growth begins with understanding. Oh yeah. For more content and updates, don't forget to email us at knowledgeforknowledge24@gmail.com. That's knowledge, number 4, knowledge, numbers 24@gmail.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Knowledge for Knowledge. That's the YouTube channel. Follow us on Spotify, Knowledge for Knowledge, and exchange your information with Knowledge Ali on Spotify. Stay tuned for the after show. It's coming up next.
Some of you niggas ain't real, real, real. Some of you niggas ain't real, real, real. Some of you niggas ain't real, real, real. Some of you niggas ain't real, real, real.
All right, y'all. I told y'all don't go nowhere. Welcome to the highlight and recap, part of the show of Knowledge for Knowledge, exchange of information with Knowledge Ali. Just in case y'all missed the show, this is the part where I'm gonna run it back for y'all. I ain't gonna let y'all miss. Y'all might have missed the main course, but we got plates in the back for you though. Got you. Excuse me. So in this special episode, we're gonna revisit the profound discussion on accountability, attention, and submission in relationships. We're gonna break down the key points and takeaways from this latest episode. We're gonna pose thought provoking questions. For the open panel discussion. So if you want to be on the panel, uh, shoot me the invite, or drop it in the chat. Uh, and I'll put you on the panel. You know what I'm saying? And we can share some timeless words of wisdom, to inspire and empower everybody as well. So let's dive in and explore these essential topics in a greater detail. So let's go over some key points and some takeaways. We started with attention versus accountability, right? The persuasive influence of social media has created a culture where attention is often mistaken for validation. People may prioritize gaining likes and comments and followers over genuine self reflection and personal growth. This can lead to a superficial sense of self worth based on external validation rather than internal accountability. Many individuals grow up without strong examples of accountability in their lives. If parents, teachers, or your community leaders do not model taking responsibility for their actions, it can be challenging for individuals to learn and value this trait. Um, Admitting fault requires a level of vulnerability that many people find uncomfortable. Admitting fault requires a level of vulnerability that many people find uncomfortable. The fear of judgment, rejection, or appearing weak can prevent individuals from taking responsibility for their actions. And then we jumped into, is there a generation of narcissistic individuals? The emphasis on individualism and self promotion in this modern culture, it can or has contribute to narcissistic tendencies. The me first mentality often overshadows the importance of community and collective well being. Overprotective and overly permissive parenting can lead to a lack of accountability in children. When children are not taught to face the consequences for their actions, they may grow up with a sense of entitlement and the inability to take responsibility. It's crucial to distinguish between narcissistic traits and NPD, which is a narcissistic personality disorder. Many people may exhibit narcissistic behaviors, but that NPD, that's a clinical condition. You know what I'm saying? That requires professional and it requires professional diagnosis and treatment. And you got to understand this distinction that can help in addressing the root cause of these behaviors. We covered, why do some women refuse to listen to a man? I hear that thrown around as a topic on a lot of other shows and lives and podcasts, right? But it's always a one-sided narrative, one blaming the other. Like, no, like it's always some line drawn in the sand. Well, if you wasn't like this, I wouldn't be like that, or I'm like this because it is. Like, fuck all that. But historically, women's voices have been marginalized. Leading to a resistance, to the male authority in the modern times. Historical context can influence how women perceive and respond to male input. I always say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And in this day and time, it don't matter male or female. We tend to live in a more, I tend to say, sensitive society. You can't really too much speak brutally harsh anymore like that. So men and women often have different communication styles, which can lead to misunderstandings. Women may feel that men are not listening, to them, while men feel that women are not receptive to their input. Improving communication skills on both sides, gotta bridge the gap nonetheless, man. That's the bigger picture. Like all that, like I say, all that blaming. Nah, man, don't be over on this side pointing the finger. Like, no, we gotta come together. Why are we pointing fingers? Why we can't hold hands? Why we can't hold each other no more? Why we got to stand away from each other and point at each other or throw these verbal daggers at each other? Like, this all I'm trying to do is just trying to help us come together. But anywho, like I say, with this, no disrespect, the rise of feminist movements, has also empowered women to assert their independence and question, those traditional roles. This empowerment can, it can sometimes it can be perceived as a resistance to male authority, but it's often about just seeking the equality and the mutual respect. Um, Another thing we covered that I hear they get thrown around a lot, submission. So what does submission mean to you? Submission is often it's often misunderstood as a sign of weakness or inferiority, but in a healthy relationship, it can mean mutual respect, trust, and support. It's about finding a balance where both partners feel valued and heard. Submission can it can vary greatly depending on, the individual's belief and cultural background. It's essential to have open and honest conversations about what submission means to you and the other person that you're dealing with. This dialogue can help, create a shared understanding and help strengthen the relationship. True submission is a choice made, from a place of strength. You're giving up something, and that's confidence. That ain't no coercion or no feel. Like, ain't nobody made you to do that. That's a powerful choice. When both partners willingly submit to each other in different aspects of the relationship, it can lead to a more harmonious and fulfilling relationship. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I got some words of wisdom for you real quick, like, covering this, the topic and the recap of, why do men and women lack accountability. So accountability is the glue that ties commitment to the result. That's a quote by Bob Proctor. True strength lies in submission, which permits one to dedicate his life through devotion to something beyond himself. It's a quote by Henry Miller. The way we communicate with others and with ourselves ultimately determines the quality of our lives. It's a quote by Tony Robbins. Thank you for tuning in to this highlight and recap part of the show. We hope these key points, takeaways, and questions, have sparked meaningful conversations and reflections, Remember, understanding and embracing our differences can lead to stronger, more empathetic relationships, So stay curious, Keep challenging these societal norms and continue exchanging knowledge. Until next time, this is Knowledge Ali, reminding you that growth, begins with understanding. For more content and updates, don't forget to email us at knowledgeforknowledge24@gmail.com. Knowledge for knowledge number 24 gmail.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Knowledge for Knowledge. That's the YouTube channel. And you can also follow us on Spotify at Knowledge for Knowledge, exchange information with Knowledge Ali.
Some of you niggas ain't